السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا بكم أبنائي وبناتي طلاب الصف الخامس ابتدائي في منصة البث المباشر. النهاردة إن شاء الله we are going to continue the third session in the concept 3.2. Concept 3.2 is called water as a valuable natural resource. Again, water as valuable, which is mean very important natural resource. We're going to study lessons 2, 3, and 4. My dear students, we feel that water as many types, which are fresh water and salty water. The fresh water, my dear student, is very important, and we must protect the environment and protect the fresh water on earth. Why it's very important? For many reasons, like we use it for drinking, irrigation, agriculture, industry, generating electricity, and so on. Also, many living organisms live in the fresh water. About, my dear student, 10% of the world animal live only in fresh water. 10% of the animal, yeah, 10% of the world animal live in the fresh water habitat. So it's very important. Also, all living organisms need water to survive, need the fresh water. And it's used in many purposes, and 10% is used of the living organism live in the fresh water. Okay, so it's very important. And my dear student, take care that this fresh water, which is very important, has two risks which threaten the world. The risks which threaten the world are the scarcity, mean less or low, or the percentages is not more, and the poor quality fresh water. Scarcity and poor quality fresh water are the risks that threaten the world. Okay, risks threaten the world, yeah, and this poor quality fresh water leads to many causes. It leads to what? Lead to the death of living organisms. Yeah, when the fresh water is poor quality and there is a pollution, it may cause the death of the living organism. And also, extinction of the living organism may die or extinct. Extinct, yeah, like the fish and the amphibian which live in the fresh water. It may extinct when the water is poor quality. So, poor quality and fresh water lead to many things like the death or the extinction and of the living organism, and poor quality fresh water, and also the scarcity of fresh water are the risks which threaten the world nowadays. So take care that when I ask you, fresh water scarcity and poor quality are risks threaten the world, yeah, it's a threatened sentence. Take care that the risk that threaten the world nowadays. Poor quality fresh water lead to extinction. Some species, of course, poor quality lead to extinction of a species. More than 10% of the animal live in fresh water? Yeah, of course, my dear student. Okay. And if I ask you about the 4 uses of the fresh water, there is a lot of uses of the fresh water, like drinking, irrigation, agriculture, and also for industry. Okay. Now, my dear student, let's move to another activity, which is called fresh water a precious resource. It's very precious. Yeah, it's expensive and we must take care of it as it's valuable. It's a precious, yeah. Most of the study of water focused on only the fresh water. Rare we study the salty water. Why? Because it's important for the human. And finding and preserving fresh water is one of the major challenge. One of the major challenge, yeah, we must have a challenge to find the fresh water. We have a challenge to preserve the fresh water. And the fresh water on the earth limited. Yeah, it's limited. So there must be a balance of the fresh water. If there is imbalance, it may cause flood, like this picture. Yeah, or it may cause drought, like the one which is above. So this represent drought, and this represent flood. What is the difference between flood and drought? We are going to explain later in this session. But the picture show it simply before we start. There is drought, less water, high temperature, yeah, and low precipitation. Here, there is what? There is more water or flood. Okay, and we must conserve the fresh water. Yeah, we can control it by using what and store it. We said that scarcity is very important. How to put strategy to control and conserve the fresh water. To control and conserve the fresh water, yeah, our community build them. So the countries build them across river. Why? To store water. So building them just to store water. And this a way to conserve fresh water. Which problem now? The problem is scarcity. So if the water is scarcity, oh no, so we must store the water. When use it, we can use it again. Okay. So my dear student, human activities cause imbalance. And this imbalance lead to, as we said, drought, yeah, in some place, or flooding in another places. And this imbalance, if happen in a watershed, this we will going to study. What will be the result? But what's meant by a watershed? We said that if imbalance in a watershed, yeah. What's watershed firstly? Before studying the imbalance at a watershed, watershed is an area of land, okay? Area of land where water from different sources move at a common location. All the water move in a common location. Yeah, so it will be a watershed. Again, know that it's a watershed when an area of land where water from different source move in a common location like ocean, sea, or other large water body. Okay. Wait, how can the flood occur? Or how can the drought occur? Flood occur simply when there is more rainfall. More rainfall, yeah, more level of water, so there will be flood. What happens when there is little rainfall? Little level of the water, yeah, on the stream, so there will be drought. Okay, so take care that watershed is a location, yeah, of land where water from different water bodies, the water from different water bodies, yeah, collected in one place. It may be bigger river, maybe ocean or sea. The next activity, my dear student, we will study watershed prediction. Yeah, how can we predict the watershed? Take care that human activities which takes place in some water body, like the tributaries, affect the people or the animal or the plant which found in these tributaries. And not only in these tributaries, what live near the tributary. So what happened in the tributary? Here, what called in this place, it's away from it. But what happened here caused an effect here. So we said that tributary, small water body. The small water body like small creek, small stream, which flow in a bigger river. Okay, take care what happened in a watershed affect the watersheds in the stream. What happened in the upstream affect the water in the downstream. Okay, what's upstream? Place where rivers start. Again, place where river start. And the downstream, place where the river end. Like in Egypt, Mediterranean Sea and Egypt is called a downstream. And all the blue color represent a water body. Okay, now we are going to use the following figure and represent this figure represent a watershed map. Look at, there is tributaries more watershed map to show how water body will be affected by some human activities. How the human body affected by human activities. Now, if a factory is built near tributary at area A, this is area A, and there is a factory near this tributary, what happened? The wastes in this tributary will found in this area, not only this area, but also carried to connected water bodies. Yeah, carried to the connected water bodies, causing water pollution. Okay, next move to another one. If a dam is built in an area B, look at area B. If there is a dam here, what will happen? It will hold water behind it. We must save this word. Hold water behind it and cause change in the amount of water in other water bodies connected to the tributary. The next one, if there is a farm using chemical fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, the farm waste will affect tributary sea, and the water in tributary sea will carry and leak to other water bodies connected to it. Look at tributary sea. Yeah, the waste is here and move to the connected what? To the connected water bodies or tributaries. Okay, let's move to another one. If a trash dam established near tributary D, now it's here. There is a trash dam which produces litter. This litter of trash dam will flow into the water in tributary T. It will be filled with the trash dam litters. But what about the during the windy days? Maybe the leather moved to the neighboring or leak to the neighboring what? The neighboring water bodies connected to it. Okay? So now let's check your understand. Well, most water on earth is must be what? Salty water. Most salty water. Number two, the level of the water in the river increase, causing flooding when there is more flooding, more rainfall. Area of land where all water flow in a common location, yeah, my dear student, it's a watershed. Let's continue the last activity, which is called a natural resource. Take care that, yeah, paper made from trees. Again, paper made from trees. Oil product. It's used to make plastic. And also, my dear student, the clothes and you are made from what? Clothes, my dear student, made from what? Okay, the clothes made from maybe plant. Yeah, the clothes may be result from plant. Like what? Like my dear student, the cotton. Okay, what about my dear student, the animal product? Animal product, my dear student, will lead to what? The animal product, yeah, will make the wool of the sheep. Okay, so trees, yeah, paper, oil product, yeah, used to make what? The plastic and the clothes, my dear student, made from plant like the cotton or animal product as wool of sheep. Okay, now let's move to another point, which is called what? Dear students, it's called the preservation. Two concepts which we must study, which is called the preservation, and another word which is called what? Sustainability. What the difference between preservation and sustainability? Let's start with preservation. Preservation, my dear student, mean restricting access or control reaching of the human to the natural resource. Like if there is a precious things, your mom put it in the cupboard and said, yeah, you can't reach it. Just look at it. Yeah, I need to preserve it. So the word restricting access or control reaching for the natural resource, this will cause preservation. Another one, examples of the preservation. Like what? Countries prevent using the natural resource. Yeah, like in Ras Muhammad Protectorate. Look, that's Ras Muhammad Protectorate, which is found in South Sinai. My dear student, Prince Muhammad, you can find what a group of fish and these colorful and also coral reef found in this protectorate and no fishing here, yeah, and you there is what? There is control reaching of it. The second one, Wadi Al-Hitan Protectorate. Wadi Al-Hitan Protectorate, which is found in Fayoum, it's very important protectorate. Now, what happened? This table, my dear student, show the result of overuse or depletion. Depletion, yeah, we use it more and more of what? Of the natural resource. So if there's a depletion of a natural resource, more than we can replace it. Depleted, more than replaced. Okay, like what? Like the fish. Fish, yeah, if the fish are eaten by human make overfishing more and more. Okay, and we can replace. Okay, we fish more than replaced. No time for the fish for reproduction because the human catch it. Okay, what will happen to the fish? The fish become rare. Again, the fish become rare. will decrease because there is no fish. Okay, the second one, groundwater. Groundwater, my dear student, if we use the groundwater of the wells in a faster way, then they can be replaced by the rain. What will happen? We can find that groundwater will run out and the wells become dry. The next one, or the next term, which is called, my dear student, sustainability. Sustainability. What's sustainability? Sustainability is an important way of a resource conservation. So we can conserve, first one, by preservation, when we control reaching. But now, sustainability is important way of a resource conservation. What's meant by sustainability? Save this point and keep it. Using the resources in a way, again, using the resources in a way that not negatively affect the future supply. Again, using the resources in a way that not negatively affect the future supply. I will use it, but keep for the future supply. Yeah, again, using the resources in a way that not negatively affect the future supply. Okay, so take care that there is a big difference between preservation and sustainability. Preservation means prevent use or devouring the natural resource in a special wet area. But when we manage use, there is sustainability as we manage the natural resource without affect the future supply. Okay, let's get example for sustainability. Yeah, when there are study two situations, one of them shows sustainability and the second one unsustainability. Cow feed on grass in a field where grass grows slowly. When the grass grow what, my dear student? Slowly. The sustainable way, if we place cows in one large area. So if the cow eat from this place, what about the far place? The grass will grow. Yeah, and here the grass can grow. So there is time for the grass to grow. Okay, if there is a small or a cow in a large area of grass. Okay, and this will cause the growth or the grass will grow back in another area. Number two, unsustainable situation. Unsustainable situation, it means that if cow placed in many small area, yeah, we put more cow in a limited area or a small area, they began eat more and more and more, huh? So the grass become few and there's no food for the grass and also for this cow, and the cow will be very hungry. So if the cow placed in many small area and began eating all the grass before new grass, yeah, could grow. So this cause disappearance of the grass in this area and the cow will be hungry. Now, my dear students, let's show the resources sustainability is affected by many factors. They affected by overpopulation. If there is more people, yeah, and every year the number of the people increase, this will affect the sustainability. Unequal distribution of resource. If the resources have not no equal distribution. Finally, overuse of resource or damage the resource. Okay? And finally, the pollution. So, overuse the resource or damage the resource, overpopulation, uh, unequal distribution, and also pollution. Okay? Now, let's move to another one which talk about renewable resource, my dear student, don't mean that they are unlimited. Yeah, they are renewable, but it's limited, not unlimited. Natural resource can be classified. First one, renewable resource, like water, plant, animal. And none, like what? Soil, coal, and so on. And renewable resources can be used up if people don't use them wisely. Take care that if we can't use it wisely, the resources can be used up, okay, or run out. Okay, let's move to point which is very important. When fresh water on the earth is polluted, the fresh water become what? Undrinkable. And when the pollution from burning non-renewable resources like coal and oil lead to soil pollution. Okay, and this causes death, plant and animal. Finally, cut down too many trees lead to deforestation. Okay, and also it will cause what? Something called soil erosion. Soil erosion means that the soil will move away. So there is soil erosion. Okay. Now, my dear students, let's check you understand well this question. At the end of Nile River, there is what? There is what between the river and the Mediterranean Sea? I think it's an easy question. There is what? There is estuary. What? Formed with water collected in low-lying area. When the water in the low-lying area, there is what? Lake. Among the kind of the wetland there is what? Fresh water of swampland lakes. The next one, estuary is formed when water of what meet the water of what? Hmm. The care estuary when the river meet what? Meet sea. The next one, the floor of what? Hmm. May contain mountains and plains. Floor of ocean. Among the example of fresh water body in the earth, yeah, there is more than what 110% live in salt water. So where is the salt water here? You can find, my dear student, where? Like what? Yeah, with the water body 10% in the river and stream. The next one, the type of water which found in the sea. In sea, salt water only. People get their need of water and fresh water in the lake, river, stream. Among the risks that threaten lots of water on the earth, yeah, scarcity and poor quality. Area of land or water flow to a common location, yeah, that's called what, my dear student? Water shed. Level water in increase are causing flooding, so there is more rainfall. fall. Tributary usually end by flowing what? Yeah, by flowing water into bigger river. The last one. Mm. All the following reason cause water pollution in a river, except what? Except building dam. Building dam, my dear student, can cause pollution, but it hold water behind it to store water. Which of the following can pollute the water of tributary? By wind blowing. Wind blowing, it must be light. Yeah, paper of the books made from paper made from what? Made from trees. Okay, a plastic cup is made from, it's made from plastic. So my dear student, it's oil. The next one, prevent developing. There's prevent, so there is preservation. Yeah, address Muhammad. If some rabbit here with the rabbit, and in the question in the book there is what? Cow. But both is the same. If some rabbit are placed only in one large area, let's consider example of what? Yeah, take care that. One large area, so it's sustainability. The same like the cow. Among the factors which help us to make resource sustainability. What make the resource sustainability is, my dear student, population control. Now, my dear student, we finished our lesson for today. Waiting all the best for you. Waiting for you, inshallah, in the next session. Wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.